We are
Thanks for joining us.
Wow.
big
The
admirers
muscular
of
dove
Dude,
yours.
herself.
We've heard, it feels like
yes.
a million songs of yours.
Listen,
We've
I don't
seen
think
you, well, we've
anyone has
seen
ever
you,
called me that. I
we've
was
heard your
so
voice, and it seems like a million movies that we've seen now. You are the one and only muscular dove. For always and forever. I think you should put that on cards. So thank you so much
yes.
for coming on. We really appreciate that.
It's my pleasure. I really have seen a lot of your reviews and interviews. You guys are so detailed and so hilarious at the same time that it's very entertaining. I really enjoy watching your stuff.
Well, thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
First and foremost, we want to talk about your new single that came out with your brother, which obviously, as you know, we absolutely adored and we thought it was phenomenal. So, how did you first come up with that idea, that video with your brother? How did the whole process come about?
So, I don't know what you guys were doing in the lockdown. I was very bored. I was not doing
Yeah.
my my usual, volume of work, whether it's travel, concerts, and recordings for films and other stuff.
Uh-huh.
So I was feeling very uninspired and bored at home, and I felt like doing something that just will give me instant dose of joy. So that's why I did Angna More, the song that you heard with my brother. And my brother is like, so we have a 7-year-old gap. Okay, we so I kind of bully him a little bit, sometimes. We do speak about music a lot. He's a very sincere musician, but I say you know, yeah, we should be doing something that should really, give some excitement in our lives. And he says, yeah, whatever you say. So Didi is sister in Hindi, right? So he said, Didi, whatever you say, we'll do it. He's a very good boy. so, uh, he said, you don't even think twice before what kind of music we need to do. Whatever comes to mind right now, just let's record it. And let's not think about what genre this is, whether it's a commercial kind of a track or not, because it matters right now a lot, right? Because everything is dictated by numbers and what kind of genre people are listening to, what's the in thing. But I think we kind of really did not follow any rule. And I did this song as a for my love for classical music. So it's not a very hardcore Indian classical music piece, but it's inspired by it. So it's a very flowy composition where I am able to do a lot of singing, technical things also, but not keeping it very heavy. And the arrangements and the production was very important for it to become very unique, because didn't want it to become um, you know something cliched, because fusion is the term when it comes to Indian uh, classical mixing with Western style of arrangements.
Hmm.
I didn't want it to become a fusion song. It had to be a very unique experience. So that's how we did it. And I'm glad Soumyadev could add his influences,
Hmm.
his musical style, to enhance it in a different way. And people liked it. I'm glad.
Hmm.
Yeah, very much. And but you have said that this song connected you back to your roots. How so is that? And is that an accurate description about your connection with the song? It brought you back to your roots?
Yeah, yeah. Because see, I have learned classical music, but I won't say I'm an exponent in it. I am not a full-fledged classical music performer. I have a certain inclination towards this kind of music. Whenever I sit and sing something, or I choose to listen to music, I'll end up listening to Badi Ghulam Ali Khan Sahab, the big names of Indian classical music, and the ragas, or something that gives me instant love and happiness in that moment. Um, so I think I'm drawn towards it, and that's my first love. Um, but I am not a full-fledged classical performer. I use my little bit knowledge, whatever I have, and the experiences, and having listen to the greats. Uh, all of those influences I bring in my singing, uh, but I won't call it a purist way of uh, putting classical music in my technique of singing. So, yeah, I would say I was drawn to this kind of music because in films, in the typical, format of singing, I won't get too many opportunities like this. So,
Sure.
Yeah.
so because this was an independent project, I could do something that gave me happiness
Hmm.
in that moment.
What was it different or challenging to do all this during a pandemic, or what was it? Was it any different process during the whole COVID going on?
Oh, yeah, because everything was virtual. Like
Mm-hmm.
this, we were on
Hmm.
Skypes or video calls, and there are so many different things that have come up in this kind of a challenging time. So I could hear the audio, like a very good quality audio over the internet, and jam with my brother on many things. Even recording the other musicians, we were all doing it virtually like this.
Hmm.
So. I learned a lot of technical things in this in this period. To be honest, I never thought I could operate all these softwares, and I'm very good at this now. I think I can call myself an expert.
Well, are you pleased with the fact that here you were really, I mean, on the one hand, you're definitely not someone that can be put into a box. You're very versatile. But this was a very personal project for you that's very different from some of the things you've done. Are you happy? It's being very well received, not just by us, but it's being very well received. That must be really pleasing for you.
Yeah, I actually did not think much about how this will be received. What will people say? I honestly did it out of just pure love for wanting to do something of this sort. And then when I put it out, I think because the audiences also were probably waiting to hear something like this, not just from the music industry, but me, because people know that I have a certain a love for semi-classical, classical music, and I have done a bit of this here and there. But this was a very different presentation. So I honestly did not know how this would have been received, but it's very encouraging to see the kind of comments and the love that has been pouring in for this. So this makes me feel very confident that I can keep going on this path and not worry much about what is expected of me. I think the audiences really want an artist to really express what's in their heart in that year or in that month or in that period of their life or in that phase. I have been in this industry for probably more than 20 years. I've done a lot of different kind of music, but it's now time for me to really explore what I really need to or want to do now.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
And so you've, I believe, sang in almost 19 different languages, I think is what I saw, which is astounding. Um, how, because coming from an American who just speaks English and just a tiny bit of slang Spanish, that seems very impressive to me. So how difficult is it? And I know you've said that, music has no language, but you're still singing in a completely different language. So it's still crazy impressive. So how difficult is it to sing as beautifully as you do and get the, I guess, the articulations correct in a language that you're not fluent in?
Yeah, this is the beauty of our country, India, because
Hmm.
we are a country of so many languages
Mm-hmm.
and different cultures and traditions and cuisines and so many
Mm-hmm.
different things. Um, I feel very fortunate that I have. See, I speak Bengali at home. My
Mm-hmm.
mother tongue is Bengali. Our national language is Hindi, and we all speak, pretty much everyone speaks English.
Mm-hmm.
So three languages we have to speak.
Yeah.
you know uh, so this is given. But there are these languages which um, are very different from what I speak, like Tamil, Telugu. Malayalam, Kannada, especially the South Indian languages, are very different from um, the main language that I have learned or I'm speaking,
Mm-hmm.
because that's so Hindi, Bengali are based out of Sanskrit. The
Mm-hmm.
the
Hmm.
root language is Sanskrit, and Tamil is a completely different language. It's a very old language. It's older than Sanskrit.
Mm-hmm.
So. Uh, so to be honest, I don't understand these languages. So when I am singing these songs, I am not sure what I'm singing. What are these words? To me, most of the time, these are sounds, and I have to, get the sound and the pronunciation correct,
Hmm.
and also express the song and with all emotions and of course, the musical part is there, but because our film music and our generally uh, all music, it has to be all about emotion
Mm-hmm.
apart from the musical
Hmm.
nuances. So it definitely gives me a little challenge, but I somehow have figured out my tricks into figuring out how to do it best. I take the help of my composers and the person who has written the lyrics of the song to give me the actual pronunciation, the diction, the phonetics of it. I make very precise notes on my notebook, and once I've learned it, so in those 10 minutes of learning a song, I'm a very good student. I listen to every every bit of what is being spoken, even if I'm joking around and if I'm like having fun, but my ears are very uh, you know very alert about every information that has been given to me. And once I'm on the mic, I take all the information in front of me and I convert it into a song.
Into a muscular dove. I love it.
Yes.
God. I was trying to
And
find, we were having this internal joke because I just told my brother, I've never been called a muscular dove in my life. So I was trying to find an emoticon or an image on the internet. If there is a dove which is muscular,
muscular.
I there there is not a single image of a dove which is muscular. So I'm
You could
No.
unique.
create one. You created the butterflies. You could create one that's unique
Yeah.
for you. Absolutely.
Next music
Yeah.
video, I expect some credit. So it's going to be a muscular dove music video. It's going to
Yes,
be
next
beautiful.
one.
Yeah. 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 Now, I read somewhere speaking about the way that you go about learning, for example, say Tamil, which is not Sanskrit originated, which Hindi and Bengali are, that when you're wanting to understand exactly what you're saying, that you'll do your notation in Hindi. Is that correct?
Yeah. I
Yeah.
feel Hindi is a very phonetically it's very proper. It's very close to what you want to enunciate and pronounce. So it's very easy for me to. So the Hindi script is actually called the Devanagari script. So you can write a lot of different sounds and vowels and the way. And then of course I've made some my I've come up with some extra script additives, which only I know what it means. So I
Ah,
do have my own little, notations.
Yeah.
Yeah,
What language would you say is the most difficult to sing in that yet obviously you're not fluent in?
there are lots of them.
mm,
I think having done so much work in all the four South Indian languages, so all the four
Mm-hmm.
are difficult to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
But Malayalam especially is very difficult because
Fast.
there are these various levels of even the la. There is la, there's la, there's ra. So there are these levels of saying the same alphabet differently depending on what the word is and how it's coming. And it's very complicated, but uh, I think I have now attuned myself a little bit, so I now can predict that if this is the word, it has to be pronounced like that. So I think
Mm,
somewhere I'm learning slowly. Learning. I
good.
think this is a slow
yeah.
process, but I'm getting there.
Well, it's encouraging to me to hear you say that there's some things that are difficult with the la and the different sounds because I've tried to begin to learn some Hindi and I'm also Ami Bangla Shikchi.
Acha,
So
wow, Tarun Bepar, this is amazing.
yeah, and I there are so many sounds in both Hindi and Bengali, as well as all the other Indian languages, that we don't even make in
Yeah.
in English. Yeah, so it's encouraging to know there's so many languages that are challenging for you as well.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh, yeah.
do you find we've noticed something in our exposure to now, really in the past 2 years, we've been fully immersed into Indian artistry in ways we had no idea it existed. And I what we've discovered, and you can affirm this, is that musicians in particular, singers in particular, that are coming out of Indian artistry tend to have a much broader and bigger range of music, as well as training. It seems like training, whether it's Hindustani classical music or it's Carnatic or it's just the basics of understanding modality and raga and everything else, is training essential for singers and musicians in Indian music?
Yeah, I think in my case, it definitely has helped uh, because I feel learning classical music, whether it's for a Western singer, if it's a Western classical, or for a artist, there is some other kind of training. For Indian music, Indian classical music is definitely the first step towards learning a language. So it helps you. Um, this is the perfect musical language which you can then use for your life to improvise, execute ideas, so many different applications of that thing. So it helps you create, it helps you, um, you know, take a certain piece of music to a different level.
Mm.
So I feel for me, execution of notes and how I can approach a note a certain way. I can approach it in 300 different ways because I've kind of heard the masters of Indian classical music. I won't say that I've learned it very thoroughly, but I've heard a lot. And for me, learning has been mostly through my ears.
Mm.
And even the bigger artists, I take them in front of me as you know benchmarks and institutions, and I learn a lot from just every day listening to the same song and discovering something new in it. How like for me, Lata Mangeshkar is one of the most prolific Indian female artist or Indian artist, to be honest.
Absolutely.
Her her dynamics and her presentation of words, her use of emotions in the right place. So I have learned a lot of things from her and many other artists, even classical artists, and I use those very you know, wherever needed, without even thinking now how I need to use those techniques in my singing. So I feel Indian classical learning a classical course is very important for any singer to have a great foundation.
Yeah.
Mm.
And this is just I'm curious here. Um, I'm not a singer. Rick is a singer and a musician and all that kind of stuff. But I know in Western, there, whenever singers or musical theater, I suppose, are preparing, they have warm ups.
Mm.
But I'm sure they're different for Indian. Obviously, there's the rags and all that kind of stuff. So what are the you're like if you're going into the a studio to record something for a film, what are some warm ups that you would normally do to get your voice ready?
Oh, I know. Tough. You know, Corbin, so sorry to disappoint to many of my listeners and you that I do not have a regime. I
Mm,
honestly do not do too much going
mm,
before on the
that's
mic because
that's
that's the
really
truth.
okay.
That's the truth because
Yeah.
people really expect that I'm probably doing acrobatics in my singing before I'm
uh,
going on the stage or going doing my scales and opening my voice. I do a very little bit of
uh,
so even if it's just because being a recording artist
uh-huh.
and being a performer are two different things.
Yeah.
So when I'm doing my concerts, when I'm going for a live gig, I really have to, of course, once do the whole warm up and the sound check and everything to make sure that I'm ready to belt out because the projection of my voice on stage is very different from what I'm doing on the mic in a recording studio.
Mm-hmm.
So I honestly feel when I wake up in the morning, I really know how, what is my situation that day. How
Mm-hmm.
is my voice sounding? Is it tired? Is it exhausted? Is it
Muscular.
well? Is it
Hmm.
feeling muscular? So
Yeah.
really, honestly, so I wake up and I know that okay, today if I have to record a couple of songs,
Mm-hmm.
I need to make sure that my octaves are not working in that certain my voice is not the tone is not perfect today. I can find flaws in my timbre that day, that okay, that particular frequency I can't hear today well in my vocals, so I will probably do a warm up to uh,
Mm-hmm.
just to initiate or just fire up that frequency, or do some scales to open up my octaves. And so it's very day to day
Mm-hmm.
situation.
Yeah.
And I think over the time I've tried to understand how my voice works, how my body works, how well also your mental state is also very important. If I'm very stressed out with 100 different things, I may not be able to do that music at all. I have to be in that state of mind. uh, so I have learned how to shut off those switches which might give me, will distract me from the actual emotion of the song. So
Mm-hmm.
there are a lot of processes which are very now impersonal, and maybe not everyone can use these tricks, but it has worked for me.
Yeah.
Do you have a preference? And it may change from venue to venue or production, but do you have a preference to performing in a studio when you're doing vocals for a motion picture versus when you're performing live in front of an audience? Do you prefer one over the other?
No, it's two different, completely two different ball game. Like it's
Yeah.
amazing to have that transition from being in a isolated studio, soundproof, and it's. I feel a studio is a like a temple of creation. You are you are in your most. I feel I'm in my most spiritual state in that moment, where because I'm able to create with my composer and songwriters something which was not heard before, something which was out of nowhere. A song is born, right? So I think,
Mm.
and then going on the mic and singing it, and some days we just are able to hit some extraordinary notes. Some days are just they fall flat. I mean, it's really about you can't predict. But whatever gets created in that moment, in that day, is now printed for eternity. It's going to be
Mm-hmm.
there as a record forever. So
Hmm.
basically, we are able to capture that moment in sound uh, as a part of history. So that's incredible for me.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, then taking that song, and maybe once people have heard it, and taking that song in a concert and performing it live is a different feeling, because then of course the performance is also very different from the original song, because I am actually probably doing it very differently when I'm on the stage. I'm doing improvisations which I didn't feel like doing it while I was recording it, or
Hmm.
the energies of the audiences, them singing and the cheers and the orchestration and the arrangement of the songs. It's a different thing.
Mm-hmm.
It can't be compared. I love both.
Mm-hmm. And what's how? Because obviously we're very familiar with playback singers now, but here in Hollywood, essentially, those playback singers aren't really a thing very much anymore here anymore. But what's the whole process like in terms of how far ahead do you guys record that before they're ready to start filming that song in the movie, like in Baji Ramastani when Deepika was about to do the thing in the gold room, and like how far in advance is that done, and are you in the room when she's pretending to have your voice?
That's a good one. Um, well, no, see, the song is made first.
Yeah.
And to be honest, there are now very few films and film directors who can do that kind of music or create those kind of big sets and have
Mm-hmm.
a lip synced moment of the actress. I think things are changing in our films now anyway. But having said that, our essential Bollywood song would be about, if I'm a female voice, an actress will be lip syncing on my vocals, and the
Mm-hmm.
song is made beforehand. So the song is created, then it goes for choreography if there is some dance
Mm-hmm.
involved, and then of course there's a when it's Sanjay Leela Bhansali, he thinks very differently. He's one of the very few people who does his music like a musical,
Mm-hmm.
and it gives it a surreal, larger than life kind of an experience for audiences. Um, so that there is so much detailing that goes in the shot division, how the actress will what her facial feature facial expression would be in that particular note. There are so many nuances to even our dance form actually. It also comes from the Indian classical dance, classical art form, which now has been converted into Bollywood. Bollywood has every different genre, which is mishmashed, and now it's something unique.
Yeah.
But so I think when an actress is lip syncing the song, she really has to. Even for me, when I'm singing the song, I really have to imagine if this is Deepika Padukone singing, and I know her face now. I have sung many songs for her. I know how she will enunciate this particular line, how she will
Hmm.
probably, express with her. I know how her face
Wow.
moves in
So do
certain
you
words.
normally know like who the actress is you're going to be singing for beforehand?
Most of the times,
Okay.
yes, especially in the bigger cast, bigger production films. Many a times, what happens is we have done the song and it was then used for some other film. So,
Ah,
it has happened that way also. But most of the times, on the
gotcha.
bigger hits that you have seen of me are always very well planned, very well choreographed
Yeah.
pieces. Only very occasionally when to be honest, because I do a lot of regional songs also. So there is a lot of work happening in different languages. So sometimes, if I'm very late in the process to deliver my vocals, just before the release, I didn't have say a time when they were about to shoot the song. So many a times they have shot it on somebody's voice, like as a scratch vocals, and then I am stuck with the with the
Mm,
way that song is already shot. Now I have to
Oh.
match up to to
Whoa.
something that is already done, and then find my ways to improvise on it and do my thing. That's sometimes that has also happened.
Wow.
mm. Well, you said something a moment ago that's very telling about you. I'm a big advocate of lip syncing is a much underappreciated art form. It's not an easy thing to do. And I know most actors who are having to lip sync are doing everything they can to match the mouth to the sounds they're hearing. You a moment ago said that you will actually take into consideration what you know the actress is typically going to do. You get to know them well enough, and you actually go about phrasing your music in such a way that it will be complementary to what you know they will do with their enunciations.
Yeah, that I really keep in mind because I feel sometimes when you see lip synced music can really throw off people if it's not done well.
Mm-hmm.
When you're
Absolutely.
watching someone on screen and you suddenly know that's not her voice and it's not even sounding right with her, the tone is not sounding right with her face or the
Mm-hmm.
way she's moving
Hmm.
her mouth, it can really throw off an audience. So I am very sensitive towards these things. So I take care as much as possible. But also, one more very big thing helps me is knowing the story of the song. What is the situation? Where is it set in? Is it set in the current period, or is it you know, it's in the 1970s, a retro period, or is it really like in the Mughal era? So, like, uh, that also sets a lot of those tonality and the way I'm even enunciating the pronunciation of the words. And of course the it's a teamwork, to be honest. Like the lyrics for that song will be of course set in, say, like for example, Baji Rao Mastani, the song you're talking about, Diwani Mastani, which you're talking
Hmm.
here, we're listening. So this is a song where there's a lot of Urdu words used. So Hindi has a lot of Urdu and pure Hindi words mixed. So the languages are also very different, and over the years and different historical changes and influences, our language has built like that. So what kind of language was used in that era? How were they pronounced in that time? What was the pronunciation? So the urban lingo has changed, but in the early 1800s, it was different. Uh, so keeping these things also in mind helps a lot to set a tone of the song, the sound, and the film, everything put
Hmm.
together. So you have to become part of the script, not just be a singer at that moment. You have to become a part of that story in that moment. So I do, even if somebody doesn't tell me what is the backdrop of the song, I'll prod. I'll say, what is the script? What is the story? Why is she singing this song? And in what time of the storytelling or narration does this song appear? What is her mental state in that point of time?
Hmm.
Is she going through, if it's a current scene, is she going through a breakup? Is she going through a certain crisis in her time, in a personal crisis? All these things may be very sound very silly, but they really make a lot of difference. And I put these small notes in my head. Then I don't think about it. I try to get into the mood and just sing it.
Mm. That's awesome.
Beautiful.
And so you've sang, I believe it's thousands of songs, which is mind-boggling. But we've also heard these legendary artists like Yusudis and Ann Lada, and that have sang like 30 to 50,000 songs in their life. How does one, like, are you just constantly singing like all the time? Like, what is your daily life that would? Is it like 2 to 5 songs a day that you're recording pre-pandemic? Is how do you get to that number?
Interesting, no? How to get to the number? That's so that's not really the intention here to
Yeah,
get to that number. I think it just happens. See, India is a big population. We
yeah.
have a lot of films happening. There is so much music and so many people to entertain in different languages and different styles of movies. And then, of course, now independent music has also now started coming up. So parallelly that. So then this number will happen, no? If you're singing for so many years,
I
this will add up.
suppose that's a
Uh,
lot.
uh, I think. I've had days when I've sung five. I've recorded five songs,
Ooh.
and hopped from studio to studio to get to one project to the other. Very different kind of songs, very different kind of composers and people I'm working with, even languages.
Hmm.
Uh, but I now I don't do that because I need to enjoy the process. It's not
Yes.
just about the number. I
Hmm.
need to
Yeah.
be in the song, and if I'm not feeling it, even the day if I've gone to the studio and I'm feeling that okay, I'm not in the right frame of mind, or my vocals are not perfectly fired up to the today. It needs a little bit of rest or something.
Hmm.
I'll say no. I'll come back tomorrow, and I'll do it
Mm.
when I'm feeling up to the mark. So I've taken it easy now.
Mm.
So I don't know how the numbers will get there.
They will.
Yeah, they will.
I'm
They
trying.
now you you started involved in music at a very young age,
Yeah.
and now I understand the way you became involved in Bollywood musicals is it true that it was Sanjay Leela Bansali's mom who saw you on a contest, and that's how you got connected to Sanjay Leela Bansali, which then led to Devdas?
Yes. Wow, you've done your
Yes.
research. That's lovely, Rick. Thank you.
and
Yeah.
and then
So,
you were
huh.
critically acclaimed, like right out the gate. You do Devdas, and you're winning awards immediately, and that's how it all started. Yes.
Yeah, it really
Yeah.
is feels like a dream indeed.
Hmm.
Uh, I was my life has very young in music. Before Devdas, I was doing. So when I started singing in Devdas, I was 16 years old. So before that, I was doing a lot of other kind of music, which is non-film, some Marathi, some Bengali music. So, and before that, I was doing television shows, the contests like we have Saregama, which is pretty much like the American Idol or
Hmm.
Indian Idol, that kind of a show. It's a reality show. So that was the first television exposure, and that was very new in our country anyway. A show like this was first time conceived, and it was loved by people, all about music, and all the greats of the musicians were on the panel, judges panel. um, so at the age of say about 10, 11, I started doing these kind of shows, contests. um, and all of this was I actually did not live in Mumbai that time. I was in a different state called Rajasthan,
Hmm.
and I come from a very academic family of engineers, and this kind of a family where music was usually just a hobby. Can't be Nobody has ever thought of taking up a profession or make a career in music.
Hmm.
But things happened, thanks to my parents, my dad, his love for the art, and he made sure that I learned from the best gurus, and I traveled from Rajasthan to Mumbai to participate in this contest and learn from different people once we moved here. And then this show happened. I sang a couple of times. I was a kid, but Sanjay ji's mother was sitting somewhere in her living room and watching the show, and she was very impressed, or she instantly told Sanjay ji that please listen to her voice, and that's how he first heard me. And I had no idea that because film music I had not even planned in my life. I was too young to know what to do in life, to be honest. I was doing my school and a little bit of music, whatever was happening, in very small kind of work. But Devdas was one of the most, awaited blockbuster magnum opus kind of a film.
Hmm.
People were waiting to see who's the star cast. Like finally, it was decided it'll be Shah Rukh Khan, Aishwarya Rai, and Madhuri Dixit. They are the biggest names possible in a movie. And one day I got a call from Sanjay ji that I heard your voice and I want you to come.
Wow.
Uh, so I want to hear you sing in front of all the musicians. I thought it was a prank.
I bet.
I honestly thought it was a prank, and it was the most weirdest call ever because this was not expected at all. Without any preparation for it, without any plan in life for a moment like this happened. So I really give it all the credit goes to God because He has
Hmm.
plans for everyone.
Hmm.
So He did have a plan for me, and I did this song, and of course the 2 years of very challenging work on this film. It was a very very big film. It took 2 years for it to complete, and when it released, things completely changed for me.
Yeah.
And
Mhm.
the awards are one of the things I feel very humbled by that. But that's where my actual journey started. Of now, I have to be very serious about music, and I'm being compared, or I'm being, people are calling me for some very big songs which are challenging to me. Uh, so I have to deliver, I have to
Hmm.
learn, I have to get there. So now that's been almost 20 years.
That's
Yeah.
awesome. That's fantastic. So I do have a question. The actors often get famous dialogue just shouted at them on the street. Do you get sung at? Like,
I
do,
feel,
do people just sing at you?
listen, so Corbin, so I was in school, right, when Devdas happened. And that was the first song which I did, Berry Pier. And you know how just right outside the school, there was a school wall where these rather rowdy boys used to sit and just, tease the girls.
Mm-hmm.
It's a typical school thing. And so whenever I would walk past, because my film had just released, I would be teased by this song, and I used to get so upset. At the same time, I used to feel happy they know this song. Yeah, good. It's a popular song. So
Yeah.
that was that song, Very Pure, my first song.
That's
Okay,
awesome.
so
Now it
I
doesn't
I gotta
happen.
I gotta know, how did June 26th become Shreya Ghoshal Day in Ohio, in the United States?
Yeah, it was such a
Yeah.
it's become such a big thing, and I feel very embarrassed, to be honest. At the same time, I feel very flattered, very happy. So this was when I had gone for a performance in Ohio, and we had, I keep coming to the US and perform for all our Indian community. uh, so there are a lot of performance. In one of the tours, I was in Ohio singing for a room full of people, and the governor of that state comes and gives me the surprise, and gives me the certificate and announces a day on my name. I did not know what to say at that moment. uh, I feel definitely very honored, and I feel it's not just an honor for me, it's an honor for the entire Indian diaspora which is living in the US. And um, that kind of respect and love that has been shared, I feel very happy that this is not just for me, but it's for my culture. And I hope that I live up to the expectations here, and do good job, because it's a big thing.
Yeah.
And I don't know, the fans just make a big deal out of it, and they celebrate it. It's like Diwali or Christmas, on that day.
That's
So
awesome.
I also have to celebrate it, because that day I feel ki, should I be cutting a cake? What should I
Yes.
be doing that
Yeah,
day?
you should be doing something.
100%.
Absolutely.
100%.
Yeah.
And I know you haven't committed to anything obviously yet, but can we expect an acting debut here soon? No.
No.
I thought I heard. I thought I know. You've said you've gotten a lot of offers. I didn't know if you were eventually one day gonna like do
No.
OTT or anything like that.
Yeah. So now these kind of opportunities have come up. So I never say no, like a blanket no, but I don't feel the urge to do it. I mean,
Mm,
I will rather do my music video. That's fine. If I have to do it for my song, I will do it. It's very awkward, for me to be in front of a camera. And I see all these actors just crying at the, whenever needed, you just get into that mood and start emoting. I said, I cannot do this. I don't have it in me. I can do it with my voice, but I don't know
yep.
if I can do it with my face or my body language. It's a very difficult art. We just tend to become like, becoming an actress is becoming a glam fashion thing. That's what many people think in India.
Hmm.
Like, but I don't take it lightly. If I were to do something, I'll rather go to school, learn how to act, and then do it. And I
Yeah.
don't think I can commit to it.
Now, on a lighter note, I heard somewhere that you like to cook.
Yeah.
Do you have a
You know,
favorite thing?
I cook, but I can't. Many a times when I have, say, for example, if I've committed someone, ki, okay, I'll cook this for you, and you will get to eat something. So, and then that day only I'll mess up. So I'm not very consistent,
Just
consistent
like Corbin.
on,
Yep.
right? Corbin, you can relate to it, right?
No, no. I
So,
Yeah.
I cook on
no,
on a different channel. I've tried to make some Indian dishes.
oh,
I'm
you
not a
do.
cook like in the slightest.
Ah.
I can cook mac and cheese sometimes. So it's just I try to make for the first time Indian dishes, and we'll see what happens. And so that's
So I
basically
should also, so inspired by you, I'll also come up with a channel then.
do it.
Uh,
You should.
but I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
So this lockdown gave me a lot of time to be in the kitchen, because what else to do? And of course, uh, we were all very active on social media. Everybody was posting recipes and how to make banana bread, and that was a fad at that first lockdown period, everyone was posting their cooking skills on their Instagram or etc. So I said, okay, I'll also do. So one or two posts I did, and then I got bored. But I think I think I can cook a little better now, because with some practice, it has this lockdown has been actually a blessing in
Mm,
many ways for me. Um I could do a lot of small things which gave me a lot of joy also.
hmm.
So I think now next time when you're in India, I can cook for you. I have
That would be
gotten better.
fantastic. You'll have to
Absolutely.
tell Rick what to make his Bengali girlfriend for Valentine's Day.
Yes. Any Bengali dish.
Yes. Okay, now so in this lockdown, I have learned a lot of recipes from my mom. I will totally cook for you and your girlfriend, and I hope you like it. I have
Yeah,
a lot of nice recipes now.
Yes.
that's why he's learning Bengali. So
It's true.
Forget it.
I just want to finish this off and thank you so much for chatting with us. So with a little bit of a rapid fire, just a couple of random questions here. So just coffee or chai?
Hmm. It's seasonal. I would say coffee, but in winters I like chai.
Mm. Uh, favorite Bengali dish?
Kosha mangsho.
Kosher
Do you know
mangsho.
that, Rick?
Oh, yes, I do, and I
You
agree with
do?
you.
He does not. He's lying.
Yes.
If you can cook that for your
I am
girlfriend,
not.
she'll be.
You should.
Yeah.
I've had food in Calcutta. I promise you, the favorite food that I've had thus far is the stuff that I've eaten in Calcutta,
Mm.
100%. And I'm not just being biased; it's just truth.
Oh, okay. I
Favorite
like it.
favorite Bengali word? Just a word.
Mm, just, just the word.
I mean,
Ami, see, that everyone is. I think I like the word gorom. Gorom
garom.
means hot.
Mm.
Gorom.
Garom.
Gorom. It's
Garom.
gorom. Like in the sense, usually Calcutta is so humid
Oh, what happened?
that everyone will just say, Gorom lagch. I'm feeling very hot. So I think it's one of the most common phrases used in
Garom.
Calcutta if you go. Gorom.
Garom. I'll start using
Yeah,
that one.
Gorom.
Favorite Hollywood film?
Hmm. Oh God. Wow. I didn't expect you will ask me these kind of questions. I would have done some preparation. Okay. Um, A Beautiful Mind.
Mm. Yeah.
Um,
Wonderful film.
Sound of Music. Oh, come on. Sound of Music.
Yes. Julie Andrews.
Hey, I saw you do that bit in my Angana More review. It was hilarious how you started with that song, and I cannot believe it, Corbin. You don't know that song. Oh,
I know.
My
You should
wife.
be at the minute somebody says, "Let's start at the very beginning." It should be immediate. Everybody.
That. Yeah.
exactly. It was very heartbreaking to see that.
My wife was very upset as well. Favorite Indian film, any region?
Okay. I think there's a movie called Jab We Met,
Yep,
and
we've seen it.
I watch it. I watch it over and over again because I don't know. There's something very cute and very sweet
Yeah,
about that movie.
little
Yeah, I
Shahid
realize that
Kapoor. Gotta love little Shahid
Shahid
Kapoor.
Kapoor and
Yeah.
Shahid. Oh, Shahid Kapoor.
What did I say? Did I do it again?
Shahid.
Oh, did I do it? What? I did that at the beginning of the channel. I don't know why I'm doing. Okay, all right. Well, favorite
The
Indian.
Shahid. So Shahid means honey. So you
Oh,
said Shahid Kapoor.
Well, he does feel that way about him.
that's true. He
Oh,
is my best friend. Uh,
oh.
no. Favorite Indian actor and actress.
Hmm. Okay. Actor. So okay, can I be okay? In the very these are all black and white movies, Amana. Okay, like the old films. I
Yeah.
really like Guru Dutt movies are just
Yes.
and Wahida Rahman. these two people are my ultimate, romance is best expressed on screen for me by these two actors.
Yeah, we just watched Payasa actually, like
Hmm.
You
last week.
did.
Yeah, phenomenal film.
Yeah.
And favorite Indian? Did you say actress?
Yeah, I did say Wahid Arman, but there are so many more. I really like Madhubala. I in the recent times I like right, not so recent, but Madhuri Dixit is one of my very favorite.
Hmm.
Uh, she's absolutely gorgeous, and
Yeah.
she, especially for my music, I feel she's the ultimate face I want to sing for. I've sung,
Yeah.
but I want to sing more for her.
And last but not least, what is, in your opinion, your best work?
It's yet to come.
Yes.
Good answer.
I like it. I like it. Well, thank you so much for chatting with us. We really appreciate it. We are, once again, massive admirers of your talent. We think you are literally one of the most unique voices. That's why I call you the muscular dove that I've ever heard. And we just every single time we hear one of your songs or hear your voice in a film, it's just one of the highlights of anything we watch or stuff like that. So thank you so much for sharing your talent and sitting down and talking with us, Rick.
Yeah, and we everything we've heard you sing, obviously we've been impressed by the quality of your voice and what your capacity is. Your training is evident in the way that you sing, but more specifically, the expression and the artist that you are. And talking to you today was really revealing and celebratory for us, because that's the thing that matters to us most, is highlighting and accentuating, elevating artistry. And just the way you described how you go about phrasing things in such a way, and the detail that you go into taking your notes and making sure that you're finding the emotional expressiveness and understanding the backstory of the script. We just wish nothing but the best for you, because in our minds you are the definitive consummate artist. You're not just a singer, you are a complete artist, and we look forward to everything else you're going to be doing next, so we can listen to your dove muscularity.
Thank you so much. That was so. I am very emotional with all of that you said, but you always end it with a laughter. So thank you for, those wonderful things that you do on your channel. And I'm so glad we did this interview. And I hope I'll come back again and talk to you. There's so much more to talk about music
Oh,
Absolutely.
and
so much more.
I'm looking.
life.
I'm
Yeah.
looking forward to that Bengali dish whenever we come back to India.
You must come soon, and I'll cook for you. Sure.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Thank you so
Yes.
much.
Thank you.
You have a great day.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Thank